And people wonder why Ayesha Curry is disliked. You're ungrateful.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Child, Ayesha Curry is getting dragged once again online for her most recent interview on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And much like Jada Wada, people need to admit they don't like her, want her life, want her husband, because they are committed to misrepresenting and misunderstanding her. Now, y'all know the format around here. Usually, I show you the clips in question, followed by the discourse in my commentary, but we're going to switch it up today. Let's get right into the discourse.
Just when we was forgetting about her, Ayesha Curry is back on social media talking about how she hates Stephen Curry. She was just recently on a podcast and she talked about how she actually never wanted to be married, she never wanted to have kids, and she always saw herself as a career woman, etc., etc. Which, I get it. You know, people have visions for their own life, and when they get in relationships, sometimes they have to compromise. But my thing is, why 10 years later talk about it to the world? I get people need to get stuff off their chest, but it's just a better way of going about it than constantly embarrassing your husband. Like, every time she opened her mouth, she embarrassed this man. And then here come all the women in the comments, oh, she's so brave for saying things that a lot of women want to say. Like, there is a way of discussing things without disrespecting and embarrassing your partner.
I wouldn't wish an Ayesha Curry on my worst enemy. Every time this lady gets in front of a microphone, all she does is degrade, disrespect, and humiliate her husband. You are married to a multi-millionaire, hell-pushing billionaire man who provides, protects, and supports you in any way he can. She says she wanted to be a career woman. Fine. Who helped you open up your restaurant? Who put his own money into funding your business in order for you to become a businesswoman? See, no one's making you stay at home and be a stay-at-home mother. You guys got enough money to afford all the nannies in the world. She said she didn't want kids. Then why did you push out 4 babies for him? If you specifically didn't want kids, then I'm pretty sure you guys should have had the conversation before the first one. She also said she never really wanted to be married. Well, again, why didn't you guys have that conversation before y'all walked down the aisle, put rings on each other's fingers, and said, I do? And then we have the old classic, oh, well, my man doesn't understand me. Listen, we all know there's going to be misunderstandings, miscommunications, and arguments in a relationship. And it's how you come back from it. But you're saying you didn't want all these things now after you guys been married for quite some time. So who doesn't understand who? So you can't say, well, my man doesn't understand me when you don't say these things to him. Why are we knowing about what you really wanted on different podcasts instead of you telling your man directly before you guys got married, had kids, and got a house together? This is the thing that us men know about women, is that they don't know what the fuck they really want. They're super inconsistent and unreliable. They change their mind constantly. They say one thing, then the next minute they say something else. They don't mean what they say. I don't think Ayesha Curry understands that Steph Curry is literally the 1% of what every woman wants in a good man. Handsome, good looking, athletic, takes care of himself, is a money maker, a provider, a good father. That's not enough for her. He's also supportive. Hey, babe, you want to open up your business? Here, how much money you want me to put down? You want me to promote it? No problem, I got you. I'll put it on my Instagram, my Twitter. I'll tell my teammates to go and check out your restaurant. All that. And she still finds some way to fucking complain. If Steph Curry's own wife that he's been married to for what, 15, 20 plus years, however long they've been together, none of us niggas, none of us regular dudes, we ain't got no chance.
Real life, Ayesha Curry is the perfect example is that a bitch can have everything in the world and it's still not enough. The greatest example of that. Gang, you told all of us, I didn't want to be married, I didn't want kids, I thought I was going to be the career-driven woman. Steph wasn't my type, and I thought he was going to be a basketball coach. Once you found out that nigga was going to the league, you took the opportunity. That's what this is. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, you see all the attention that these other getting and all this stuff like that, and you want to be just like them. Disrespecting your husband on these podcasts like he wasn't my type, all that extra shit. Nobody forced you to be a wife. Nobody forced you to be a mom. You could have did whatever you wanted to do, but you saw that come up and you took it. Now all you do is embarrass your husband and want male validation. You want to be a hoe. And all you females talking about, oh, I can relate, I know how she feels, but how when half y'all ain't been married? Shut up.
I feel like Ayesha Curry is saying all this stuff unprompted, unwarranted about her never wanting kids or marriage, in hopes that Stefan will divorce her and she can have her hot girl summer or her hot girl era or her 304 era while she's well into her 30s. Unknowingly, I don't think she realizes that all this mess she's talking, she's showing that she can't hold water. She said herself, anything that comes to my mind, I have to say it. Okay, so you can't be trusted with information. Therefore, why, if you do ultimately get divorced, which they probably won't, but if they do, I think in her mind, she's hoping that if she puts herself out there enough now, currently, that there will be a line lined up to sleep with her that she can have fun with. When in reality, all this is doing is showing your true character. You can't be trusted. You're messy. You settled, and now you realize you settled and you're unhappy. Now, granted, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. All we see is the glitz, the glamour. You got the husband, you got the kids, you got the money, you got the house, you got the clothes, you got the designer. That's what we see. So we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But we know about 98% of it because you're getting on all this stuff, vocalizing your marital problems and the decisions that you made. Nobody forced you to get married. Nobody forced you to have these children. And you kept having children. You didn't just stop after the first one. You kept having children. So obviously you did not want children not bad. That didn't make any sense. But y'all get what I'm saying. So it's women like that you going on the internet saying all this stuff means what? You could have easily went to Stefan and said, you know what? I realize I'm at a point in my life that I'm not really happy. I love the life that we've built together. It's just not the life that I really envisioned for myself. So I think we should take some time and separate. How hard is it to say that to somebody you've been with for so long? Go to therapy. That's all you have to say. And then if therapy doesn't work, then you say, all right, well, we've tried therapy for this and this amount of time, and I'm still really feeling unfulfilled. I feel like I need to have a season of myself. I really feel like we should separate. And leave him alone. Leave him alone. Y'all make things so difficult. Y'all make it so hard for good women out here that do desire marriage and desire the things that you do have that you now claim you never wanted for us to obtain. Because now, I'm not saying every man, but now some men already have an inkling of what women's true intentions are, as we have an inkling and a worry about what men's true intentions are. It's like, okay, well, if I give her everything she wants, is there still going to be a part of her that wants to be a hoe? Or, women, if I give him everything, is there still a part of him that wants to go be a pimp and have hoes? What are you saying? Get off the internet. I'm done.
Watch this reach the wrong part of the internet, but you are going to struggle to have empathy for Ayesha Curry when you have on a pedestal the exact life that she has, or at the bare minimum, simply having a good man who loves you out loud. Because Ayesha Curry isn't necessarily in a volatile relationship situation, and to you, she's actually in the ideal relationship situation, you cannot comprehend what more she could possibly want out of life. What more could she possibly be asking for God for when you are over here trying to simply get a man to act right? And when you are in a situation, you are looking at somebody whose lifestyle that you envy, whose man that you want for yourself, whose situation that you can't imagine happening or having for yourself because you are simply still trying to get a man to act right, you look at them and you feel like they are ungrateful for wanting anything for themselves outside of that particular situation. But newsflash, something that I hope you are able to learn in this lifetime, if you are able to get one person to treat you right, is that relationships and long-term relationships require so much more than simply getting someone to act like they like you, than getting someone to not cheat on you. Once you have surpassed all of those elements, once you are actually in a good, healthy, long-term relationship with somebody who fucks with you, isn't fucking your mindset up and things of that nature, you will be surprised what else pops up that might get in your fucking way. Because relationships are fucking hard. Okay? And when I say hard, when people think hard and they hear that, they think cheating, infidelity, getting your ass whooped, abuse, because those are the black and white things that make relationships easy or not easy to you. When in reality, your individual wants for yourself, life situations, the cards that you're going to be dealt, familial issues, financial issues, there are so many other things that get in the way of a good long-term relationship that might require a good long-term relationship to end, apart from the love that the two people share for themselves. So my hope for you in life is that you finally get to a place where you can actually recognize what it takes to actually be in a long-term relationship, because then that will give you the perspective you need to understand how an individual like Ayesha Curry can look at the charmed life that she's been given and still feel like she is missing something.
It's very evident to me these people did not watch the podcast, and one thing I dislike about TikTok specifically is that it's emboldening people to see a viral clip, turn their cameras on, and give full-on yap sessions with zero context. People are saying Ayesha hates Steph and their kids. He was never her type. She's ungrateful. She's embarrassing him. She's jealous of him. He needs to divorce her, and the list goes on and on. But let's get into what she actually said.
And people wonder why Ayesha Curry is disliked. You're ungrateful.
I was thinking we were going to be like bar hopping. It's like, nope, you're pregnant and you're going to be very, very sick. But I'm so grateful. I wouldn't change a thing.
Of course.
But, it was not on my bingo card.
And when all this went down,
All she does is degrade, disrespect, and humiliate her husband.
you go on this first date.
Yeah.
What are the vibes?
It was one of the best days of my life.
And did you like him at all? Like in your heart, you're like, oh, I wish I could.
Yes.
It just wasn't. It was high school.
I thought he was so cute.
I feel like Ayesha Curry is saying all this stuff unprompted, unwarranted about her never wanting kids or marriage, in hopes that Stefan will divorce her.
Did you always knew you wanted a big family?
No. So, I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals, and I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like, it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
Can have everything in the world and it's still not enough.
And kind of what we were talking about with the money thing earlier, it's like, yes, I think there's a lot of people that would be like, you're Steph Curry's wife. Like,
Yeah.
go sit in the stands and like, he makes so much money, just be happy.
Yeah.
And so there's the one, why are you working question? And then there's the two now that you're bringing up of like, people maybe assuming, oh, is she getting what she's getting just because she is this guy's
Right.
wife? How does that make you feel when you hear those comments?
It feels crazy. And actually what you just said, like I recall like sitting there, you said in the stands, a reporter actually literally said on live television, she needs to sit there and look pretty like other people. I think people just don't realize that there is a life outside of where we are now in our adulthood. I think people can't see past like the surface one sheet.
Yep.
So please tell me where she embarrassed her man, let on she doesn't like him or their kids, and wants out of her marriage. These people watched the tiny clip that took place in the first 2 minutes, yes, first 2 minutes of this hour-long interview, and decided to get online and attack her. I'm going to attach a few more clips and then give my thoughts. So this was my first time actually watching Ayesha Curry, and I really enjoyed getting to know her. I'd only ever heard about her because people were dragging her online. She seems very sweet, and it became clear to me she's very grossly misunderstood over the years. From this interview, we learned that she and Steph met at like 14 or 15 years old at church and were childhood crushes. And they started to date more seriously as they went off to college. Steph would eventually get the opportunity to enter the draft in his third year of college and wasn't even sure he wanted to go for it. So all these people saying she got with him because of the draft are loud and wrong. They were already dating in each other's lives for years at that point. We also learned that Ayesha was in the process of pursuing an acting career and even got to be on Hannah Montana before setting those dreams aside to follow and support Steph's career. We learned that about 2 years into his NBA career, they get married. She gets pregnant almost immediately. They have their first child, Riley, and Ayesha's life takes a drastic change. Where she thought she would be enjoying married life, club hopping, and being young, lit, and turned, they were actually 23 and 22-year-old newlyweds with a newborn and thrust into the spotlight due to Steph making waves in the league. I'm sure that this type of change in plans would shake anybody. Neither of them knew he would go on to be one of the GOATs of the generation. She went on to explain that it wasn't until about a year into motherhood that she looked at her baby and realized she had to get back to what made Ayesha, Ayesha. This is something that mothers talk about all the time, losing themselves in being a wife and mother. And even though these detractors acknowledge that this is common, they still want her to shut up about it. Because apparently, being somebody's wife and mom should be more than enough for women. It's really sad that we have been socialized to believe women aren't allowed to be multidimensional beings. In this podcast, we learned that Ayesha has since made it a point to rediscover her interests and make a name for herself outside of her marriage. Even though her life isn't what she envisioned at 22, it's still a great life. She even said it herself, there's no such thing as a timeline, which is true. You can plan until the cows come home, but life is gonna life, and it could be very hard to cope with that. I've shared my own story on here before. Like Ayesha Curry, I did everything right. I stayed out of the way. I got an education. I married the only guy I had ever been with. And one day I looked up and was like, whose life is this? It was truly earth-shattering, realizing everything I thought I wanted and would be fulfilled by wasn't it. I spent years in therapy unpacking it all. So I commend her for doing the work and finding herself again. It's very obvious to me and anyone who actually watched the podcast that she loves her man. She spent the majority of the podcast gushing over him and their story. And the way that she was able to recount their love story in such detail and lights up over it just proves how important it actually is to her. Their story is actually so endearing, so I don't know where all the narratives are coming from. Babe, Steph is right where he wants to be. Dead all the think pieces, he won't pick y'all. So now that you've seen what she's actually said, and there's even more, but I'll leave the link below so you can watch the interview in its entirety, you're probably wondering where all this vitriol men and women have for her is coming from. And the short of it is jealousy. The long of it is misogyny. People think women should just be happy Steph gave her the time of day, wiped her up, took her out of her situation, and has given her this great life. When in reality, Steph hasn't done her any favors. She was already on her way to an acting career. He was just a random kid from church when they met. She's a Canadian that was sent to LA by her parents to work in Hollywood. It never gave poor girl from the hood gets wiped up and forgot where she came from. So why are y'all trying to humble her so much? It's because it's the life you want. You want somebody to come save you. You want to be an NBA wag that can say, my man, my man, my man. But what is a husband and kids to a woman who never dreamed of those things? Who are we to tell her she's ungrateful? In fact, in another part of her interview, she explains how remaining grateful and reframing her thoughts to always see the bright side of things is very important to her, which is why she named her brand Sweet July Skin, because so many of the good things in her life are associated with the month of July. Her anniversary, the birth of her children, the time of year her family gets to spend so much time together. It's evident that everything she's done following the birth of her children has been extremely intentional. This career path she set for herself took lots of work, and even though she's gone on to do amazing things both professionally and philanthropically, people still only see her as Steph's wife, and they want her to be satisfied with that. It's a pity, really. Either way, I enjoyed the interview. I really like Ayesha, and it was really nice to learn more about her. I hope from this video you can all see why it's important to watch the source material in its entirety and not try to make false narratives for the sake of wanting to put your 2 cents in and get views. Let me know what you all thought of this viral clip in the discourse. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. And I want to remind you that your girl is on TikTok, so go ahead, give me a follow at NetGoss. Now that we've met our goal of 100 subscribers, we are now setting our sights on a new goal. 500 subs, and I know we can do it because y'all be watching my videos, so I know you're there. Hit that like and subscribe for your girl. All right, I'll be back with another What Took TikTok real soon. Bye.